Let me save you from a mistake that costs people tens of thousands. Just because a property is cheap doesn't mean it's a good deal. I remember the first time I saw what I thought was a steal. The price was so low compared to everything else in the area, it almost didn't make sense. And in my mind, I'm thinking, this is it. This is where investors make their money. Because most people, especially when they're starting, believe this one idea: buy low, sell high. Sounds simple, right? But what nobody explains to you is, buying low doesn't automatically mean you're going to profit. So I go see this property, and at first glance, it feels like an opportunity. Yeah, it needs work. But I've already convinced myself I can handle that. That's where the danger starts. Because when you want a deal to work, you start minimizing the problems. You start saying things like, it's just cosmetic. I can get that fixed cheap. It's not that bad. But here's the truth. The property doesn't care what you think. The numbers are the only thing that matter. So I brought in someone with more experience to walk it with me, and they started pointing things out I completely missed. Not just surface-level issues, but deeper problems. Things behind the walls, things under the floors, things that don't show up until you start working. And suddenly, the deal I thought was cheap started getting expensive, really fast. Now let me break this down in a way that changed how I look at every deal. There are two numbers that matter more than anything: what it costs you to get in, and what it's worth when you're done. That second number, that's everything. Because profit doesn't come from buying something cheap. It comes from the gap between your total investment and your final sale price. So let's say you buy a property for $100,000. Sounds great. But if it needs $90,000 in repairs, and the final value is only $220,000, you don't have much room left after closing costs, holding costs, agent fees, unexpected problems. That cheap deal just became tight. Now compare that to a property you buy for $180,000. That only needs $20,000 in work and sells for $260,000. That's a stronger deal, less risk, less uncertainty, more control. So now, I don't chase cheap. I chase spread. I chase margin. I chase deals where I have room to be wrong. Because here's something you need to understand early. You will be wrong sometimes. Repairs will cost more than expected. Timelines will stretch. Things will go sideways. And if your deal doesn't have enough margin to absorb that, you're not investing. You're gambling. That's why experienced investors don't get excited about price. They get excited about opportunity after everything is accounted for. So the next time you see a cheap property, pause. Don't ask, how low is the price? Ask, how much room do I have after everything is done? Because that's where your profit lives, not in the purchase price, but in the margin you create. Follow me. Next, I'm going to break down the one simple way to analyze any deal so you don't get caught guessing.